Roads that play music when you drive over them. Ice cream that refuses to melt even under a blowtorch. Vending machines that detect earthquakes and dispense free drinks during disasters. Japan doesn't just innovate for the sake of it. Every solution feels like someone actually thought about what would make life smoother, easier, and a little more delightful. We're counting down 15 Japanese inventions that should honestly be standard everywhere, and some of them are going to completely change how you think about everyday problems. Number 1. Japan turned stretches of highway into actual musical instruments. These are called melody roads, and the engineering behind them is absurdly clever. Grooves are carved into the road surface at very specific intervals, calculated down to the millimeter. When your tires roll over these grooves at the correct speed, usually around 40 to 60 kilometers per hour, the vibrations created by the grooves hitting your tires produce actual musical notes. The spacing between grooves determines the pitch. Closer grooves make higher notes, wider spacing makes lower notes. By mapping out an entire song as a sequence of different groove patterns along a stretch of road, engineers essentially turn the asphalt into a playable record and your car into the needle. There are several of these roads across Japan, and they play everything from local folk songs to popular melodies. You're driving along a rural highway, windows down, and suddenly your entire car starts humming a tune. Not from your speakers, from the road itself. The vibration comes up through the tires, through the chassis, and fills the cabin with music. It's subtle enough that it doesn't feel gimmicky, but clear enough that passengers will absolutely notice and ask what's happening. Meanwhile, the rest of the world uses those same kind of grooved road surfaces just to create noise as a warning when you're drifting off the lane. Japan took the exact same concept and turned it into something that makes long drives genuinely enjoyable. It's such a perfect example of Japanese engineering philosophy. The technology could have just been functional, but they asked themselves why it couldn't also be delightful. Number 2, Japanese taxis have rear doors that open and close automatically, and the driver controls them from the front seat. This isn't some luxury feature on high-end cabs. This is standard across nearly every taxi in Japan. The mechanism is straightforward but beautifully executed. A pneumatic or electronic system is connected to the left rear door. The driver has a lever or button up front. When you approach the taxi, the driver spots you, flips the control, and the door swings open on its own. Smooth, controlled, no effort required from you. When you're seated, the driver closes it the same way. When you arrive at your destination, the driver opens it again so you can exit without touching anything. You walk up to taxi with your hands full of shopping bags or luggage. Before you even reach for the handle, the door swings open and waits for you. You slide in, the door closes itself, you arrive. The door opens itself. You step out into the rain without needing to fumble with a handle while holding an umbrella. Every other country on the planet makes you yank open a heavy taxi door, awkwardly shuffle in with your bags, then slam it hard enough that it actually latches. Japan just decided that's unnecessary physical effort and eliminated it entirely. It's one of those tiny interactions that you don't realize is annoying until you experience the version where it's been completely solved. And it says something about how Japan thinks about service. The driver's job isn't just to get you from point A to point B, it's to make sure every single part of that journey requires as little effort from you as possible. Number 3, Japan invented ice cream that doesn't melt, not ice cream that melts slowly. Ice cream that you can literally hold under a blowtorch and it will hold its shape. A research team discovered this by accident while working with polyphenols extracted from strawberries. They were trying to find a use for strawberries that were too ugly to sell but perfectly fine to eat. During testing, they found that these polyphenols, when mixed into cream, caused the oil and water molecules to bind together much more tightly than they normally would. This creates a structure that resists melting far longer than regular ice cream. The brand that commercialized this is called Kanazawa Ice, and it's been tested in absolutely ridiculous conditions. People have held it under hair dryers, left it sitting in summer heat, even aimed blowtorches at it for fun. The ice cream softens slightly but doesn't turn into a puddle. It stays intact on the stick. You're eating ice cream on a hot day. Normally, you're in a race against time. Drips on your hands, melting faster than you can eat it, that panic when it starts sliding off the stick. With this, you can just take your time. The ice cream is patient. It'll wait for you. You can hand it to a kid without worrying they'll end up covered in sticky liquid 30 seconds later. The rest of the world just accepts that ice cream melts, and that's part of the deal. Japan looked at that and said, what if it just didn't though? It's not solving some massive global crisis, but it's removing a small annoying thing from existence, and that's exactly the kind of problem Japan loves to tackle. Number 4, vending machines in Japan are equipped with disaster mode. When an earthquake or other major disaster is detected, certain vending machines automatically unlock and dispense their contents for free. The system works through a connection to Japan's early earthquake warning network. When seismic sensors detect a quake above a certain threshold, a signal is sent to participating vending machines in the affected area. The machine's internal lock disengages, and the selection buttons either dispense items without payment or the entire front opens up so people can take what they need. Some machines are also equipped with emergency supplies like bottled water, basic first aid items, or even phone charging stations that activate during the disaster. These aren't rare specialty machines. There are thousands of them scattered across the country, often placed in strategically useful locations like near schools, parks, and residential areas. Imagine the immediate aftermath of a disaster. Infrastructure is down, stores might be closed or unsafe, you need water. You come across a vending machine and instead of being locked behind a payment system you might not be able to access because the power's out or your wallet's gone, it's just open. Help yourself. Take what you need. Everyone around you is doing the same. No chaos, no looting, just a machine doing exactly what it was designed to do in that moment. Other countries have vending machines that sit there, fully stocked, completely useless in an emergency unless you happen to have exact change. Japan turned theirs into part of the disaster relief infrastructure. It reflects a mindset where even the most mundane piece of urban furniture has a role to play when things go wrong. If you're loving these so far, hit that subscribe button and drop a like. This is the kind of innovation most people have never even heard of, and there's way more coming. If you want to see how Japan rethinks everyday problems in ways that'll genuinely make you wish your country did the same, subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. Number 5. Japan has phone booths that double as aquariums. These aren't everywhere, but the ones that exist are absolutely stunning. The concept is simple. Take a decommissioned or underused public phone booth and convert it into a fully functioning aquarium. The phone is removed. The booth is sealed and waterproofed. The interior is filled with water, aquatic plants, rocks, and actual live fish, usually goldfish or koi. Some have lighting installed to illuminate the tank at night. Others are integrated into existing urban art projects. The most famous one is in Osaka, standing on a street corner like a completely normal phone booth except it's glowing with underwater light and fish are swimming inside. You're walking down the street at night and you pass what looks like a phone booth, but instead of a grimy handset and outdated ads, you see a beautifully lit aquarium with fish drifting peacefully inside. It stops you in your tracks. It's art, it's nature, and it's occupying space that would otherwise just be a relic of outdated technology. Most places just let old phone booths rot or tear them down. Japan turns them into tiny pockets of unexpected beauty in the middle of the city. It's not practical in the way a vending machine or taxi door is practical, but it makes the urban environment more pleasant, and that has its own kind of value. Japan didn't need to make phone booths interesting after they stopped being useful, but they did it anyway because why shouldn't infrastructure be something worth noticing? Number 6. Japan developed a system where office workers can take power naps in standing sleeping pods during work hours. These are called nap boxes or standing sleep pods, and they're designed for the reality of Japanese work culture where people often work long hours and commute even longer. The pods are vertical capsules, roughly the size of a small phone booth. Inside, there's a slightly reclined support structure that holds your body in a standing or semi-leaning position. Your knees rest on a padded support, your chest leans against another pad, and your head rests on a cushioned surface. The design keeps you upright so you don't fully fall asleep and wake up groggy, but supported enough that your muscles can actually relax. Sessions are usually 20 minutes, timed automatically. Some pods include soundproofing, dim lighting, and even aromatherapy or air purification. You've been in meetings since 7 in the morning. It's 2 in the afternoon and you're crashing hard. Instead of forcing yourself to stare at a screen and accomplish nothing for the next hour, you step into a pod, lean into the support structure, close your eyes, and let yourself drift for 20 minutes. You come out feeling genuinely refreshed, not groggy because you didn't fall into deep sleep. You just gave your brain a chance to reset. In most countries, napping at work is either forbidden or so stigmatized that you'd never dare. Japan recognized that fighting human biology is pointless and just built a solution that works with it instead. It signals a level of practicality about how humans actually function that most corporate cultures just refuse to acknowledge. Number 7. Japan has toilets with built-in sinks on top of the tank. The mechanism is absurdly efficient. When you flush the toilet, clean water first flows out of a small faucet mounted on top of the toilet tank. You wash your hands in that stream of water. The water you just used to wash your hands then drains into the tank below where it becomes the water for the next flush. It's a closed loop. You use the same water twice, once for hand washing, once for flushing. No additional plumbing required beyond what a normal toilet already has. The faucet is positioned right over the tank lid, which has a small basin shape to catch the water and direct it into the tank. Some versions have a simple tap, others have a small sensor so the water starts automatically when you reach your hands toward it. You finish using the toilet, you flush, clean water comes out of the faucet on top, you wash your hands right there. The soapy water drains into the tank. 30 seconds later, that same water is flushing the toilet. You've saved a complete sink's worth of water and you didn't have to walk across the bathroom to do it. It's so space efficient and resource efficient that it feels like it should be standard in every small bathroom on the planet. Other countries install a whole separate sink with its own plumbing and water supply, even in bathrooms where space is tight. Japan just stacked the functions and made the toilet do double duty. It's elegant, it's environmentally smart, and it's the kind of design that makes you wonder why no one else thought of it first. Number 8. Japan developed a square watermelon, and the reason behind it is pure logistics. Traditional round watermelons roll, take up irregular space, and are a pain to stack and store. Japanese farmers figured out how to grow watermelons inside square transparent boxes while the fruit is still developing on the vine. The watermelon grows to fill the shape of the container, resulting in a perfectly geometric cube. Once it's full size, it's removed from the box and sold. The square shape means they stack neatly, fit efficiently in refrigerators, and don't roll off counters. They also slice more predictably because the shape is uniform. You open your fridge and instead of a big round watermelon hogging space and rolling around every time you move something, you have a neat cube sitting in the corner, stable and compact. You want a slice, you cut straight down, and every piece is roughly the same size because the geometry is consistent. It's a completely unnecessary innovation in the sense that round watermelons work fine, but it's also a perfect example of Japanese problem solving. They identified a minor inefficiency and engineered it out of existence. The square watermelon costs more because it takes extra labor to grow, but for people who value space efficiency or just like the novelty, it's worth it. And it's become this cultural export that symbolizes how far Japan is willing to go to optimize even the most mundane things. Number 9. Japan installed emergency earthquake warning speakers across the entire country that give people precious seconds to prepare before the shaking starts. The system is called the Earthquake Early Warning System, and it works by detecting the faster-moving but less destructive primary waves that earthquakes produce before the slower, more destructive secondary waves arrive. Seismometers scattered across Japan pick up the primary waves within seconds of an earthquake starting. That data is sent instantly to a central processing system, which calculates the earthquake's location, magnitude, and projected intensity in different areas. If the quake is strong enough, warnings are automatically broadcast through outdoor loudspeakers, television, radio, smartphones, and even factory PA systems. The warning gives people anywhere from a few seconds to about a minute to take cover, stop trains, shut down machinery, or move away from dangerous areas. You're at home. Your phone suddenly blares a specific alarm tone that every person in Japan instantly recognizes. A robotic voice announces an earthquake is coming, the expected intensity, and how many seconds until it arrives. You have 15 seconds. You move away from windows, get under a table, shut off the stove. Then the shaking starts and you're already in the safest position possible. Those 15 seconds can mean the difference between being caught off guard and being prepared. Most countries only find out an earthquake happened after it's already shaking. Japan gives you a head start because their detection network is fast enough and widespread enough to catch the first hint of seismic activity and warn everyone in the path. It's the kind of infrastructure that saves lives in a very direct, measurable way. Number 10. Japan has a bathing culture that separates washing from soaking, and the system is designed around the idea that the bathwater should stay clean because multiple people might use it. The setup is standard in Japanese homes. You have a shower area and a separate deep tub, usually much deeper than Western bathtubs. The process is specific. You sit on a small stool in the shower area outside the tub. You wash your entire body thoroughly with soap and water. You rinse off completely. Only after you are completely clean do you step into the tub, which is filled with hot water. The tub is for soaking, relaxing, and warming up, not for cleaning. Because you're already clean when you enter, the water stays clean. That same water can be used by other family members later, or it can be kept warm and reused the next day for laundry or other purposes. Many modern Japanese baths have built-in heaters to keep the water at a constant, comfortable temperature. You've had a long day. You wash off all the grime and stress under the shower. Then you step into a tub of perfectly hot water and just soak. No rush, no guilt about wasting water because you're in there too long. The water isn't getting dirty because you're already clean, it's pure relaxation. In most Western bathrooms, you either take a shower or you take a bath, and if you take a bath, you're sitting in your own dirty water. Japan separated those functions and turned bathing into something restorative instead of just functional. It reflects a culture that sees bathing as a ritual, not just a chore. Number 11. Japan invented a pen that scans color from the real world and then writes in that exact color. It's called the Color Picker pen, developed by a team that wanted to eliminate the gap between seeing a color you love and being able to use it in your work. The pen has a small color sensor built into the body. You point the sensor at any object, fabric, flower, wall, anything with color. You press a button. The sensor analyzes the color using RGB detection. Inside the pen, a set of ink cartridges in cyan, magenta, yellow, and black mix in real time to match the detected color. Within seconds, the pen is ready to write or draw in that exact shade. You see a beautiful shade of blue on a butterfly's wing. You point the pen at it, scan it, and now you're writing in that exact blue. You're a designer working on a project and you need to match a client's brand color from a physical sample. Instead of eyeballing it or going through a complicated digital process, you just scan and draw. The pen does the color matching instantly. Most people have to either carry dozens of different colored pens or settle for approximate matches. Japan created a single pen that can become any color on demand just by looking at the world around it. It's a tool that makes creativity more spontaneous because you're no longer limited by the colors you happen to have with you. Number 12. Japan developed glow-in-the-dark road markings that charge during the day and illuminate at night without electricity. The material used is a photoluminescent compound, usually a type of phosphorescent paint or embedded ceramic particles that absorb ultraviolet light during the day and release it as visible light at night. These markings are applied to road lanes, pedestrian crossings, bike paths, and even stairs in public spaces. During daylight, they look like normal white or yellow road paint. After sunset, they glow bright green or blue, clearly visible without any streetlights or external power source. The glow lasts for several hours into the night, and the cycle repeats every day as long as the markings are exposed to sunlight. You're cycling home on a rural road with no streetlights. Normally, you'd be squinting to see where the lane edges are. Hopping a car doesn't drift into you, but the road lines are glowing. Bright, clear, unmistakable. You can see exactly where you're supposed to be, and drivers can see the road layout without needing their high beams. It's safer, it uses zero electricity, and it works every single night without maintenance. Other countries paint roads and then light them with endless rows of electric streetlights that cost money to run and maintain. Japan used a material that lights itself using free energy from the sun. It's environmentally smart and practically brilliant, and it makes you wonder why this isn't everywhere already. Number 13. Japan has restaurants where you order from a vending machine before you even sit down. The system is designed to eliminate the awkwardness and inefficiency of traditional ordering. When you enter the restaurant, usually a ramen shop or casual eatery, the first thing you see is a ticket vending machine near the entrance. The machine displays the menu with pictures and prices. You insert cash or tap an IC card. You press the button for what you want. The machine dispenses a ticket. You take the ticket to the counter or to your seat and hand it to the staff. They prepare your order. No verbal communication required. No waiting for someone to take your order. No confusion about what you asked for. The ticket has everything printed on it. You walk in hungry and a little overwhelmed by options. You look at the machine, see a picture of the ramen that looks amazing, press the button, pay, grab your ticket, sit down and hand it over. 3 minutes later, your food arrives exactly as shown in the picture. You didn't have to flag anyone down, you didn't have to stumble through a language barrier if you're a tourist, and the kitchen got your order instantly and accurately. Most restaurants make you wait for a server, try to get their attention, repeat yourself, and hope the order gets entered correctly. Japan automated the most error-prone part of the process and made it faster and less stressful for everyone involved. It respects your time and removes the small anxieties that come with human interaction when you're hungry and just want food. Number 14. Japan has manhole covers that are miniature works of art, unique to each city and region. Most countries treat manhole covers as purely functional objects, flat, metal, ugly, something you step over and ignore. Japan turned them into canvases. Each municipality designs their own manhole covers featuring local symbols, landmarks, flowers, animals, historical scenes, or cultural icons. The designs are cast directly into the metal, often with multiple colors added using special paints or enamel. Some are so detailed they look like murals. There are entire collector communities dedicated to photographing different manhole covers across Japan, and some cities even sell miniature replicas as souvenirs. You're walking through a quiet neighborhood and you glance down at a manhole cover. Instead of a generic grid pattern, you see a detailed image of cherry blossoms and a local castle, beautifully rendered in metal and color. You're in another city and the covers show their famous local fish. Every single one is different and every single one tells you something about where you are. It's infrastructure that doubles as public art. Most cities don't even think about manhole covers beyond making sure they don't break. Japan saw thousands of blank metal circles embedded in streets and sidewalks and decided they could be something worth looking at. It's a small thing, but it contributes to a sense of place and pride that makes the urban environment feel more intentional and cared for. Number 15. Japan invented a device that turns your bathwater into a washing machine. It's called the bathwater washing machine pump, and it's designed to reuse the large amount of clean hot water left over after a bath. After you finish soaking in the tub and the water is still clean because you washed before entering instead of draining it, you attach a small pump. The pump has a hose that connects to your washing machine's water intake. You turn on the pump and it transfers the bathwater directly into the washing machine. The machine uses that water for the wash cycle instead of drawing new cold water from the tap. You've saved dozens of liters of water, and because the bathwater is already warm, you save energy that would have been used to heat water for the wash. You take a relaxing bath. Normally, after you're done, all that water just goes down the drain. With this device, that same water runs a full load of laundry. You've essentially gotten two uses out of one tub of water, and your utility bills reflect the savings. It's the kind of practical environmental thinking that doesn't ask you to sacrifice convenience. Most people know they waste water but feel helpless to do anything about it without major lifestyle changes. Japan just built a simple device that reuses what you were already going to throw away. It's efficient, it's easy, and it makes sustainable living feel completely doable. If you want to see more brilliant ideas like these that the rest of the world really needs to adopt, smash that like button, subscribe, and check out the video on your screen for even more Japanese innovations you won't believe exist.